Right on. I think we are live. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Ricardo Sturdivant's Tuesday Feelings, live from the Reinventing the Tattoo Network. If you guys are watching on YouTube, drop a comment in the chat, letting us know where you're watching from. And throughout the show, we'll keep an eye on those comments. On live shows like this, you guys can watch all of our Reinventing Network shows, jams, drawing groups, interviews, panels, and more on our YouTube channel, as well as our Roku. If you haven't checked us out on Roku yet, you can find it by searching Reinventing the Tattoo on your Roku device for 24/7 streaming content. This is some really cool stuff to put on in the background for yourself and your clients while you're tattooing. We have several other weekly shows and drawing groups happening almost every day. If you're watching, you can welcome to join on the Zoom call with us. All you have to do is go to our website at reinventingthetattoo.com, scroll down to our calendar, and the Zoom link is right there. If you're here to watch, our YouTube channel is set up for reminders about all of these events as well. Jason's here in the house, and on Sundays, he runs his Skill Building Sundays, where you can bring something you're working on or anything like that at 1 p.m. Monday mornings start early at 9 a.m. with Drawing for Tattooers, led by James Wisdom. Right after that is myself, Gabe Ripley, and Jake Meeks for the Tattoo Weekly, where we talk about what's going on in the world of tattooing with frequent special guests. Yesterday was Jesse Smith. Later on at 6, Robbie Rapol's Let's Talk About Feelings. Monday evenings at 9 p.m. is our Reinventing Evolution class, led by Guy Aitchison. And the second evolution trimester is almost finished up. So if you guys have any questions about that, reinventingthetattoo.com. Otherwise, we do have events descriptions in the YouTube link. So all of those different types of things are available. Tuesday morning right here, Tuesday Feelings with Ricardo. Wednesdays at noon is a Tattoo Now show. Also, we have every other week our business course that you're welcome to sign up for. As you guys know, every Thursday at 6 is Tattoo Collecting 101. And this week is episode number 100. So they have a lot of cool stuff planned. Also, coming up, I think that we're all going to be at the Resurrection Island. Otherwise, I don't know exactly when we'll see each other again, but they do have that needle jig event coming up, as well as some different inspiring tours. Before we kick off the show, let's say thank you to some of our sponsors for helping us pull all this content to you guys for free. We've got worldtattooevents.com, the best resource for tattoo events in the world. Thank you to rawpigments.co, an ink company that is tapping into the source with acrylic-free inks that have been impressing all sorts of artists, such as Jason and Ricardo. If you guys would like to get a little kickback on your raw order, enter in Reinventing the Tattoo, all lowercase, at checkout for 10% off. Also, thank you to Gabe at Tattoo Now for providing technology and organization for tattooers for decades. Thank you to Fireside Tattoo, The Apprenticeship Diaries, and eco-friendly tattoo-supplies.com. In closing, as always, I would really like to thank Guy Aitchison, the founder and inspiration behind everything that is Reinventing. His biomech encyclopedia, DVDs, machines, paintings, and more are available at his website, guyaitchison.com. Now I think is a good time to bring in Ricardo and Jason. Jason, you might want to put the banana away.
Good morning.
Hold on, what was that?
You might want to put the banana away.
Yeah, okay.
Ring, ring.
Yeah, no, I'll get that right to you. Okay. All right, I'll call you back. Bye.
I think that call was going to be about how fruitful of a day you're going to have.
Ooh, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm so sorry that I haven't really been here for a few weeks. I'd been on the road and I kind of was attempting to dial in the last few weeks, but it's nice to see you.
Yeah, it's always good to have you back, Lauren. Thank you. We missed you.
I missed you guys.
We did. We really, really did. Oh,
yeah. It's like we got the gang back together again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we should get the gang together in real life and go do something cool.
Agreed.
I think the last time that happened, though, didn't shenanigans ensue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enchiladas.
All right, let me save up some bail money.
Tequila.
Do you remember that? Yes, Ricardo, tequila. Do you remember the enchilada incident, Jason? Or the Pop-Tart incident?
I do remember the Pop-Tart incident.
Yes.
Very much so. Because I am always...
It saved my life. I was about to die.
Was that the s'mores? Was that the s'mores or the frosted strawberry?
S'mores.
Yeah.
All the way. All over.
I gave you the good
stuff. We weren't really able to eat at all. So I was at like the third day about to collapse and I was so hungry and there was no food to get. Jason hooked me up with his maybe last
my emergency stash.
I was almost on the floor, like wanting to just roll into a ball, and here comes a Pop-Tart to save my life.
I'm like,
Yeah.
Lauren, Pop-Tart. Come
Yeah.
on.
That is so true of Jason, man. Like seriously, dude, he's like the MacGyver of traveling. It's incredible. Like no joke. I mean, I can't tell you. I've done a couple conventions with him before, and I'm like, wait, I don't have this. He's like, oh, I got you. Let me pull it out of this like magic Harry Potter suitcase that I have, and he pulls out like a bed and stuff and everything too. It's crazy.
You got me though,
That-
Ricardo, with, that one cord for Texas for my microphone.
Yep, I did. I actually had it, Jason. It was incredible.
That's
It
awesome.
was pretty wild. I did take a page out of your book for that trip, and I did take some extra stuff, and it just so happened that a power cord was needed, and I had it.
It was perfect.
It was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Man.
when I was coming up in the world of tattooing, I was always taught that you had to find creative ways to solve solutions if you were ever on the road, right? So, and some of the people that brought me up in this industry used to test me on it, like regardless.
Do you guys
They'd
want to
say
say hi
cool.
to Adam for his podcast debut #2 and his lovely wife, Katie?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Incredible tattooer right here in the Edison Center. She tattoos this twin films.
Hi. What's up, guys?
Good morning. How's it going?
Good. Hey, how you doing, my man?
What's up, bud?
Not much. We have started our morning, I guess, and there's honey, you take
No,
a
it's
seat.
fine.
I'm embarrassing
It's
him, but I
okay.
love to do that.
We brought her a plant, we brought her some lights, because she let me borrow it for a shoot a couple of weeks ago. So, which I really
Very
love
cool.
up in here.
Thank
This
you.
is
Yes, very nice.
a very nice studio and the local lab too. That's really cool. You
But
Yeah, I
guys
think the
have-
camera angles could be a little bit better. Maybe this twin could give some advice on that, but
Let me take a look here. Hold on, let's take that.
yeah, I gotta send you guys some prints too. So
Are you? Oh, that would
Maybe.
be great. We love art to be able to hang it up. So this is Ricardo. Ricardo, where are you from, my man?
I'm from Illinois.
Illinois.
Good to meet you. Yeah.
It's good to meet you too. What area in Illinois?
Bloomington Normal. It's like almost right dead center of Illinois, dude. It's crazy. I'm like 2.5
Cool.
hours south of Chicago, 2.5 hours north of St. Louis. It's pretty
Oh,
wild.
nice. That's what's
Yeah,
up.
yeah. How about you guys? You guys from the local area up there?
Yep. We are in Appleton, Wisconsin, which is about 30 minutes south of Green Bay. Packer Stadium is how I explain it to people. About an hour and a half north of Milwaukee. So
Gotcha. Milwaukee.
Milwaukee, which they got their convention.
which is Algonquin for the good lands.
Yeah. You did it, dude. You nailed it.
I love history. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know they got the Milwaukee convention coming up at the end of the month. Are you going to be checking it out, Ricardo?
I might have to make a trip, man. That sounds like a pretty good time. I know that it's always good to see Lauren, and it'd be good to meet you guys in person and stuff like that.
Absolutely, man.
I keep
Why don't
telling
you do us a favor and introduce yourselves to the crowd here, man?
Myself?
Yeah, both you guys.
Great. Well, my name's Adam Barnett, and I operate This Twin Films. This is my beautiful wife, Caitlin. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Put
honey?
them on the spot, you guys.
Yeah,
I'm Caitlin, I'm a tattoo artist, so I own She Tattoos.
cool.
Which,
That's awesome.
yeah, which we
Jason.
she has her studio literally right outside the door. Which kitty corner. Yep. So we're seeing if her clients coming in today, and I got some edits that I need to do for Dennis out at Breaking Skin Tattoo.
Actually, Jason and I were just talking about it. He's friends with Dennis too.
Yeah, great guy, great crew, great time,
Nice.
great hospitality. Yeah. So I did some shop promotion out there just the other week. So we're gonna sit down and do some edits here in a little bit.
Nice, man.
Well,
That's
you like-
awesome.
We were just talking about Dennis. That's who he's talking about.
Resurrection Island.
Yep.
October 14th through the 16th. I'll be out there as well too.
Yes.
So it's
Oh
gonna
God.
be good.
Oh God.
Are you
You're gonna
going
be
to
there too?
Jason, are you going?
Oh God. I do not have enough bail money.
Like,
I do not have enough bail money for this. All right, I'm
Don't
gonna
don't
need-
worry.
It is gonna be
Jason.
at a casino.
Oh man. All right, I'm gonna need 3 bottles of tequila instead of 2.
I think I'm most stoked to just walk in the other room and smoke a cigarette. Dennis was like selling that to me. He's like, dude, just go to the casino floor and smoke a cig. I'm like, I'm totally there with you, Dennis. Seriously. I can't believe that's what I'm excited for. But
That's radical.
guys, thanks for having us. I mean, we should bring a plant by more often.
Yeah, definitely, man. That's awesome. It's good to meet y'all.
Every Tuesday morning.
Every Tuesday
Katie
morning.
has a baby
Tuesday
step
mornings.
plant for me for about a
All
month.
right.
And now look at its luster.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh wow.
Look at that.
The only thing I've kept alive.
It's good.
Sure you want me to do this.
It's good practice for children, you know.
Absolutely. And, we're gonna give the floor back to the very talented Lauren. Guys, give it up for Lauren.
Yeah.
Hey,
That was
Thank you
fun.
guys. Nice to meet you guys.
Lauren, you would be very proud of me. You'd be very proud of me. I
Why?
haven't let my plants die. Look. They're still alive.
Wow.
They're not dead yet. I'll give them like another 3 weeks, but
Good job, Jason. Good job, buddy.
I'm they're really easy to take care of. I just realized
You-
that.
You got some greenery in there, man.
You give them a little bit of bourbon every now and then, and they're happy.
I
It
give
doesn't
mine
take
that
much.
loco, some tequila.
Yeah. See, and
A
they love it
loco.
because agave is a plant.
Yes.
There. By the way, Amber, hi.
Good morning,
Hi.
Amber.
I was looking at your profile last night and just laughing. You have some funny stuff on your, I don't know. It was really great to meet you last night, a little bit kind of ish with Robbie.
Yeah, no, well, Medusa was talking about everything I had planned on talking about. So there wasn't really use in 2 people talking about the same thing.
Well, we could all listen. And I thought like, Robbie had some pretty cool things to talk about too.
He did.
He's just
And
so
because-
animated and so,
Yes. His energy is infectious.
Mhm.
I
That's
like
awesome.
people like that.
So what's your story? Where are you
Um,
from?
I'm from a tiny little podunk town in Mays Landing, New Jersey, where Veritas Iron started.
Oh, okay. Veritas. That's cool.
Yeah.
He's a
And
good
yeah,
dude.
that's our claim to fame.
Really?
Yes, I started out in a horrible apprenticeship that went horribly wrong, but taught me a lot of really good lessons
That's awesome
And
to hear.
on my own.
How long have you been on your own?
About 4 years.
Okay.
I've
Okay.
looked for other shops. Believe it or not, New Jersey is really saturated with some incredible artists.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's more tattooers than there are people that can get tattooed or want to get
Right.
tattooed. So it's a very competitive market. But even other tattooers are starting to notice my name. So I'm getting a little excited and a little anxious about that, because anxiety and excitement feel the same.
Yeah, it's pretty cool how like that dopamine rush can be both of those at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it can. You just got to talk yourself into one or the other.
Isn't that incredible how we can like do that to ourselves in a positive or a negative way sometimes, like the same way that you can talk yourself into being, constructive and beneficial to yourself, you can also kind of destroy yourself at the same time. It's pretty
Oh, yeah.
incredible to me.
I've been
Yeah.
working with my therapist a lot on being positive rather than negative.
That's good. That's good. I love that. I love that you say that like that. You know what I mean? Because I think a lot of people could benefit from talking to somebody like that, man. I know I do for sure.
Absolutely. Therapy was one of the best things that ever happened to me.
That's good. That's
I
good to
just
hear.
started hearing about my imposter syndrome, but it's
Yeah.
going to be there forever.
Oh, that guy. I know that guy.
Me too.
Oh, I get severe imposter syndrome whenever I get on the air with you guys because you guys are amazing artists. I'm a good artist. I'm not amazing yet. So I'm like, these guys are going to find out I'm a total fraud and I'm just starting out and they're all amazing artists.
I
If it
don't
makes
think
you
you're
feel any
fraud at
better.
all.
I was gonna
Thank
say,
you. I
if it makes you feel any better, I feel the same way.
So do I.
Yep. I think we
Isn't
all
that
deal with that.
amazing how someone can be feeling the same way you are, and you're
Yeah.
feeling that way about them?
Yep.
Well, what benefit do you see like for maybe your therapist? Well, your therapist is just educated. So let's just say a friend. What difference between you and your friend if you're down and they're up? Like, do you think you're down kind of changes how they feel, or like environmental, I feel really down, but when I'm with certain people, I just don't.
Yes.
Or with
Their
certain people I
energy
just
brings
do.
you up.
So that's a good thing about these groups is that like even if you are down, you're 1,000,000% welcome. You're always welcome because it's kind of the best time to come. when you're
Yeah,
down.
because then the people with positive energy can help bring you up. I'm trying to surround myself with as many positive people as possible.
Good.
Because
That's
for a
awesome.
while, and in my apprenticeship, I was just surrounded by negativity all the time. I had an old
Probably what
biker
you felt.
as my mentor, and he was, I don't want to say he was rough because he was my friend. We knew each other for a long time, but he seemed more about trying to talk me out of tattooing than he did trying to teach me to tattoo.
Huh. What an odd
And that just
sensation.
makes me more determined to do it.
There you go. There's another positive out of a negative. There you go.
I think I have oppositional defiant disorder. If somebody tells me I can't do it, that makes me want to do it more.
ODD.
I don't.
I got
Yeah,
that.
ODD.
Yep. Whenever somebody says anything to me, the first thought in my mind is no. No. No thought, no feeling, no nothing, just no. And then I have to talk myself into stop being so oppositional.
That sounds like success to me.
I'm trying.
It sounds like you're doing a pretty good job.
Now I just got to get my ass into a shop.
It'll happen. You know what I mean? You just got to keep looking for the right place. Like you said, it sounds like you're already halfway there. I mean, if you know what you're looking for, if you know what you do and don't want for your life and for your career, I mean, that's a big step already.
Yeah.
You know?
I made sure I got tattoos, that made sure I have to be a tattoo artist now. I'm not going to get a job anywhere else.
Mhm.
I hear you there.
Yeah.
I have no choice
Absolutely.
but to make it. There's no other options.
But would you even really want to be though? You know?
I get the same thrill from tattooing as I do from getting tattooed.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
don't really like getting tattooed though. So like that's not, we talked about this on Sunday. Like to me, that's not,
It's
because
kind of
to me
another
that
form of
hurts.
therapy.
It
I was
hurts.
just
a
I was
lot.
just telling somebody, I was just telling some people
I
the
don't
same
like
thing. They're like, you have all these tattoos. I was like, I hate getting tattooed, but I love having tattoos.
Mhm.
I actually really enjoyed getting tattooed by Guy and Fawn for some reason.
Well, yeah, because you
Uh,
probably couldn't feel anything after like the first hour.
Well, okay, Jason, come on, blowing my cover.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I will be the first one to admit I love getting tattooed by Guy as well. Because
Yeah.
after the first hour, you got nothing.
He
You're like,
babied
I
the
don't know
fuck
where
out of
my
me. Well,
leg
they
went.
babied the fuck out of me with a lot
It
of
looks like he
action.
has such a light touch.
Not as light as Bob Tyrell, though. That's for sure.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Well,
really?
Bob's like a ghost when he
Did
tattoos.
you see how he was feathering just angelically laying?
Yes.
You just lightly caress.
Barely, like an angel with a feather that had a very sharp
Like
point.
watching Da Vinci paint.
What was that, Amber?
It's like watching Da Vinci paint.
Uh-huh.
That's a good, and you know what Bob told me, and I'm sure you know this, Amber, but well, maybe you don't, because I'm 34 and he started tattooing at 34.
Yeah.
Makes me feel better because I'm 46 and I started tattooing at like 40.
Okay, so exactly. It doesn't really matter. It just matters that you keep moving and you keep learning and you never really, like as we get older, there's so many other things in our mind. Like I'm thinking about right now, I'm thinking about 10 things. I'm thinking about my kids, my life, relationship. And as we get older, it's hard to consolidate those thoughts, put them aside and focus on career.
Yes.
You know, and that's the only, I think that's the only downside of doing something as you are older, because it's just your mind is pulled. That doesn't mean you can't do it with focus. It doesn't mean you're not valuable, that people wouldn't really like to get tattooed by you either.
I have a decent amount of private clientele that come back. So I have to say I'm proud of that because they obviously like me enough to come back. So
Yeah.
I'm grateful for that too.
You should be. I mean, you're touching people's lives in some way or another, you know. And if they want to come back to you, then they
Just
enjoy
cover
it.
up for a girl who had senior pictures and let her brother scribble all over her neck.
Ooh.
She's like, I
No
have
bueno.
seen pictures in 2 days. And I was like, I can cover it up. It's okay.
Nope.
I'm like, it's
I
gonna
wouldn't.
hurt. It's right down her neck. She
wouldn't.
sat like a champ. I was proud of her.
Good.
You wouldn't what, Jason?
I would have been like, well, then you shouldn't have done that. Sorry. Like people, and this is what I think is astounding, is that younger people nowadays think that just because they have access to something that it's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's
There's no
not.
miracle.
Like when your older brother is going to scribble all over your neck and give you terrible work, like, I'm sorry, no matter how much potential he might have, it's still only potential. Right. And unfortunately, you have to suffer the consequences of that. For every action, there is a reaction and there is a consequence. And if you're going to allow someone that doesn't know what they're doing to do that on you, you have to live with that. And 2 days is not, like, to me, it would take like a week for the process, but that's also because my process takes a little longer. But that's just me. So.
She was lucky that her brother barely scratched it in, but I made him come with her and I gave him a nice little lecture on what it is to tattoo and how much of a risk he's taking.
That's
I would have had him bring
Yeah.
his machines that he bought off of Amazon and then kept them. Be like, oh, I'll hold on to these. I'll tune these up for you.
It's
Yeah.
funny.
And
Sometimes I
then
do
throwing
that
them out
with
the next day.
there's a lot of scratchers that come up to our booth over the years, a lot. And I know, obviously, it's not hard to tell. And we'll say scratchers, but like hopeful.
Picture magicians.
Yeah. And so I'll tell them, like, you do realize, like, you know, there is a full career, a wonderful career path that you could actually devote your life to. So instead of this $20 or this $30 shit that you're doing, why don't you put your life together? Because this is what we call a golden ticket. If you really love this and you really care about this and the art, you could have something that you never dreamt of before. And it's really weird when you see people like want that, they don't want to work for it,
No,
you know?
Yeah.
that's kind of get a little pissed off. It's like, I admit my first machines came from Amazon. They were a gift. But as soon as I got into apprenticeship, I got better machines. I had to learn how to build my own machines. So I didn't stick with the Amazon crap. They worked well for, tattooing pigskins. That way I didn't get my machines ruined by pigskin, but that's about all they were good for. And all these kids are getting them off of Amazon and online and just going at it with, hey, it gives me more business. The more cover-ups I do, the more business I get. But
Well,
it's not
no matter
necessarily a
what,
good idea.
no matter what, there's always going to be those people that are going to be doing that. You know what I mean? No matter what, there's always going to be people tattooing out of the kitchen or out of the garage and stuff like that. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I agree with you, Amber, where you're trying to help somebody out for sure. And if your process is like, something that you can do with that. I once had a kid that I went to high school with. I hadn't talked to him for, 10 years or so. And we were in art class together. And he calls me up one day at the old shop that I worked at and was like, hey, man, how's it going? I was like, pretty good. How have you been? I haven't talked to you in a long time. He's like, hey, so I started doing tattoos. Like, okay, cool. So are you working out at a shop or something? Like, where are you at? He's like, no, I'm just doing them at home. He's like, but I had a question for you. I was like, okay. He goes, how do you make them stick? How do you make the tattoo stick? And I was like, I haven't talked to you in like 10 years, dude. And now you're just calling me and you want me to just like lay, 5 years, the 5 years that it takes for you to be able to start doing solid tattoos, just like on a phone conversation. Like, it's not going to work, bud. I don't know what to tell you. I try to be nice about it.
Try Elmer's glue.
Yeah, exactly. Some Elmer's glue.
Maybe you can get a sponsorship.
There you go.
There
you go.
I see what you did there. I see what you did
that
there.
Sponsorship, you're good to go. You've made it when you make a sponsorship. That's funny. We were talking about that the other day too. Yeah.
Because only really great tattoo artists get sponsorships.
Yep.
Like
Sponsorships
Ricky
are Ricky Bobby.
I want to go fast.
Oh, that's what we need to do for Resurrection Island.
Like
I
you
need
want
to get
go
one of those. I want to get a racing suit
with all the
and
logos.
get. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. Well, I might know a guy.
How funny would that be?
It would be so funny, but yet so not funny because that's how people are. It's like it's like you become, and it's kind of scary because you're collectively representing a company. So your actions are representing a company.
Mhm.
And like you're representing, so like it's Jason, and then there's like 17 sponsors. It's like, who's Jason anymore? Who cares about Jason? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, as I've always told people, like I never want a sponsorship. I don't. That's not me.
Right.
Like I want to use what is gonna be the safest and the best for my clients. You know, that's what and I don't mind paying for that. That's fine. I don't need free stuff. You know, I'm not saying like, you know, I'm trying to go out and drop tons and tons of money all the time, but when you figure out your monthly budget and you have your finances in order, being able to spend money on the necessities and the supplies that you need to succeed is not very difficult. So do you really need that? You know, no. So I don't mind spending a little bit of money on stuff that I know is going to be the best for my clients. That's it. And I don't want to be tied to any one brand, because if something new comes along, who knows? Maybe I'll switch to that.
I'm just kidding, Jason. The thing about that, the thing is really nice about you guys is that, first of all, you've never even talked about that, like with me, obviously, but, I really appreciate that you do, speak honestly about the stuff that you're using, because if I was to say, hey, Jason, here's a sponsorship. Now, can you tell everybody how much you love this?
Yeah.
Quite tainted, right?
That's exactly what it would be. But you know what? I don't have one. And I will still to this day preach from the mountaintop. And every convention I go to, whether I'm working at it or if I'm just attending it, every tattoo artist I run into, whether I know them personally or professionally, I'm telling them about it because it's something that I believe in. I know the science behind it. I know what characteristics it has. I know how it works. I'm sold. And I don't think, in my opinion, I have not yet come across anything that's better. I haven't.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, you have to understand what you're using. You have to be able to believe in it too. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. You have to be able to like undoubtedly, unquestionably be able to stand up to it and be like, I mean, you might have your opinion about it, but I back this 100%. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not just because you're getting paid for it or you get free ink or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, who cares, dude? Who cares? I think we had this conversation down in Texas too, Lauren. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with, if you're after notoriety, then you might as well just give it up. You know what I mean? Because you're going to have those ebbs and flows and stuff like that. People are going to like you or they're not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not going to be because of a product, dude. It's going to be because of the person that you are. It's going to be because of the person that the way that you act, the way that you treat people, and the way that you're genuine about like the things that you do, you know? So like, it has nothing to do with the product at all. The product can be solid. The product can be good. The product can be exactly what it is, but it has to be genuine. You know what I mean? Or else it's just not worth it. Not worth it one bit.
Well said, Ricardo.
Yep.
And Jason.
Yeah, man. Yep. I agree. Those are my
It makes
two
me wonder,
cents.
like with the people like tattooing in their kitchen or whatever. Like, yeah, that's completely wrong. But do you think they're thinking about tattooing so that their picture can be recognized by a brand? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
they're tattooing because even though it's, let's just say a tattooer that doesn't give a shit about a sponsorship, they're tattooing for their client. They're not tattooing to make sure that the photo looks good, or they're not, it's completely different.
Yeah, they just want to make sure their client is happy.
Yeah.
Or
make
that they
a
just
couple
want to get
bucks on
better.
the side, because that's what, you know, I went and did a talk at a high school not too long ago on a career day about what I do. And I was talking to them and they were like, yeah, man, sounds awesome. I'd love to do that. But like, you know, just on the side is like a little side hustle. And I, you know, looked at them and I said, really? That's cool. You feel like spending 4 hours every night drawing just for a side hustle?
Yeah,
Mhm.
no.
Because that sounds like you're investing a lot of time into something just for a side hustle.
But those are those facts that they're not really discussed that often. You know what I mean? Those are those things that
Right.
people, it's like seeing the DIY shows on TV. It's like, I can do that. You know what I mean? But it's like, they're not talking about the years of experience that it's taken you, the fails and the attempts and stuff like that, and all these other things that go into what it takes to actually be able to sit down and do the tattoo and make it look good, or
Yeah.
make it look like you can do this too. It makes it look easy. I remember we had an apprentice one time too, and he's like, "Man, I can do this, no problem. This no big deal. I've been watching you guys, man. It's great." Like, we had him do a little kanji character, and it took him, like, he was like shaky and took him forever. And he's like, "I think this is harder than what I thought it'd be." Like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no doubt, dude. And lettering. Well, okay, let me get your guys' opinion on this. Lettering, I think line work is one of the most difficult parts of a tattoo to me. You know what I mean? It's taken me years to be able to understand the consistency, the movement, the staying on the same plane and stuff like that throughout the skin. You know what I mean? Curvature of the body and stuff like that, following the contours. And it's incredible. Sometimes you can see some people do some really, really extravagant tattoos, realism especially. But some of them, you know, they can't do a name. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's just one of those things that kind of go hand in hand with what we're saying, I think, is like, even though it looks simple, that doesn't mean that it's necessarily simple. You know?
Quest for that perfectly pulled, clean, perfect line.
Yeah, dude.
It's a quest.
And
It doesn't come easy. It takes a
line work.
long time to get there.
Line work, especially like names and stuff like that. It's always like, that stuff is, I mean, it's the simplest form of contrast. You know what I mean? It's the most basic, most pure, most untainted form of contrast that you can find. Dark line work on top of a light background. You know what I mean? It's like,
It's
there's,
easy to show the mistakes in them.
yeah, exactly.
Guys,
Exactly.
I was just gonna say, Fawn, thanks for joining.
Hey.
What up?
Yeah.
On.
What
Also,
up,
from
Fawn.
Atomic, what's up? Thanks for commenting on YouTube. We really miss you, and I'd love to see you again.
Yeah,
Creature commented that she's been working his ass off for 2 years to be a solid tattooer, gone above and beyond, and have not been able to acquire an apprenticeship or a learner's chair at a tattoo shop. If you guys want to comment on that at all, that's
Yeah, there's a lot of, man, let's see, there's a lot of effort that goes into that sometimes. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's timing even, you know what I mean? I would suggest just continuing to go into the shops that you really want to try to work with, that you really want to try to work for, and start getting tattooed by those people. Go in, not just the time and effort that you put into your work, but also the time and effort that it takes to pay for tattoos, to go in and talk to these people and you know, develop a rapport with them, and put that investment back into the industry. You know, that's probably the most fundamental thing I could share as far as advice goes on that.
Invest your time, and not just on the work that you do. Show them that you're serious.
Yeah.
You know, the old adage of you keep showing up to a barber shop, you're eventually going to get a haircut.
Yeah.
Right? You keep showing up to a studio and like picking their brains about artwork and drawing and like getting tattooed and, you know, everything like that. And then asking them like, hey, what do you think about this? What can I do to improve? How can I learn about what the art is behind this? How can I get better at that? Show them that you really have that, not just, hi, are you guys taking apprentices? No? Okay. And leaving. I would never just be like, oh yeah, I don't know you. You just showed up. Sure. Why not? And have that be a good idea.
Good point,
I got
Jason.
my first apprenticeship because I wouldn't leave the shop. I was there every day after high school. I got tattooed there. I bugged the hell out of him, and eventually Jake gave me an apprenticeship.
There you go.
I think he just did it to shut me up. But
But it worked.
Yes, it did.
You invested your time, and that's what paid off.
He realized I was serious and I wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah,
That's an important thing. I think you guys are on a really important subject when it comes to apprenticeships, is that like
artists are busy, but those of us that are busy, we all need assistance. We all need somebody to help us with things. If you're just hanging at, like, if you just keep showing up 2 or 3 days a week and you're like, hey, do you need help like sweeping? Do you want me to organize your magazines for you? Do you want me to grab that phone while it's ringing and you have your gloves on? Like, if you just start doing those things, like if you're hanging out at a shop that you've got a friendly rapport at, they might tell you no 400 times before they finally tell you yes. But the thing is you've got to have the pride. You've got to have the pride in yourself to like realize that it's important enough to show up every day, even though they're telling you no. They're really telling you yes if they're not asking you to leave. If they're not telling you time to go home, that's the test. If they keep showing up, maybe we'll teach them. If they keep showing up, maybe I'll tell them a new trick tomorrow. If they keep showing up, maybe I'll send them on this errand for me and they'll figure out this side of my business. Like, if you keep showing up, that's the first step. Myself, I take, let me rewind. The first few years, I was not proud of the fact that I didn't have an apprenticeship. I was not proud of the fact that I couldn't get an artist to take me seriously. I was not proud of that. Cut to 5 years in and I'm just doing it. And I've already taken over a studio and I'm like relying on my retail experience to help me run it. 5 years in, I'm proud of the fact that I didn't have an apprenticeship. I'm proud of the fact that I didn't have to unlearn the mistakes from the guy that I wanted to learn from. So I guess what I'm saying is, like, when it comes to apprenticeships, there's no cut and dry, black and white way to do it or way to get one. Everybody's journey is different. And the most important thing is show up. Just show up with passion and show up ready to learn and show up ready to like do the chore that nobody else wants to do. Because when you're a tattooer and you're running the show on your own, you're going to have to do that thing that nobody wants to do. So if you show up, you show the dedication, universe is going to give it to you.
Absolutely.
Sorry, that got a little intense.
It's
No,
okay.
that's awesome.
Thank you for commenting with a
It's
beautiful,
true.
sparkly heart.
Yeah.
James is here as well.
James.
Sorry to interrupt. I just let him in.
James.
Hey, gang.
Morning, sir. How are you?
I've been in your workshops every week.
Seriously, that's incredible. Thank you so much, Amber. You should zoom in. It'd be great to have you. So
I've been wanting to zoom in now that the grandkids are going to school. I should be able to zoom in without the chaos behind me.
Killer.
yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I'd love to draw with all of
Oh
you.
my God.
But what?
Nothing. Just one. Sorry. I speak when I shouldn't. Sorry.
Well, thanks for letting me in the meeting here. This is I was listening and it's really I listen to all your shows every week and I think about like, jumping on, but I don't know, something holds me back. I don't know why. So, but I felt compelled to say what's up this morning. So
I'm glad you
Good.
did, man. It's good to catch you in here.
You are always welcome on Sundays, man. I'd love to have
Yep.
you. That'd be
All the
great.
time. Yep.
okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's,
Yeah, it would
it's
be
one
an
of those
honor.
things. It's one of those things that we're talking about earlier. You know what I mean? This whole like imposter syndrome. Sometimes you don't think you should. You want to jump in, but you're so worried about it, so nervous for whatever reason it is. I was the same way for a long time, man. It's actually part of the reason that I started doing these is so I could get in front of this thing and start becoming a little bit more comfortable with the uncomfortable. You know what I mean? And it's super important, dude. It's super important. It drives me all the time. Like doing the scariest shit I can think of has been the motivator for the past few years of my life, for sure. You know what I mean? So it's cool. And your classes are great, dude. Like you have a lot of good information and stuff on there, man. So
Seriously,
Killer.
I'm right back in the swing of things. And I haven't drawn regularly in years, and it's really helping.
it's
That's I mean, that makes me feel really great. To be honest, like I guess I just I get a lot from drawing personally and from tattooing. I've been tattooing again, full time, and it feels great. And I guess I get a lot from that. Like, from drawing, from tattooing, from teaching, from my students. It all really sort of like, you know, feeds into this.
I think you froze up.
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
Boo. Where'd you go, James?
The internet has swallowed his live feed up and is eating it.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Now to go back to what Fawn was saying, I agree with you, Fawn. You know, that time and effort that you're talking about, that drive and that push, like you have to be willing to do something sometimes almost for free even, you know what I mean? And not expect anything out of it in return. And like sometimes it's just being genuinely a nice person, you know what I mean? Like just being there, just hanging out and stuff like that, and just trying to make friends and stuff like that too. That's, I think, first and foremost for the people that are trying to find the apprenticeship route, you have to look into it not as the end goal, but sometimes just a part of the process that is what it should be. It's just learning and experiencing that environment. Even like you can pick up a lot of things just being in the tattoo environment, you know, a lot of the culture, a lot of the appropriateness of how to handle clientele and stuff like that, you know what I mean?
Super duper key, and I want to rewind to it, and it was be willing to work for free.
Yep.
One of the best opportunities that have been given to me is because I said, oh yeah, I'll do it. And I didn't ask how much. I didn't ask any of the details. It was just like, yes, I'll do it. I'm available. I can help. And then from there, some of the best opportunities of my career have just unfolded in front of me just because I said, yes, I'll do it. I think with a lot of young tattooers, and I think even some very professional young tattooers, there are a lot of things that they just won't do. They'll be like, well, I could be making $500 a day, or I could be making $1,000 a day. So I'm not going to do that because I could be sitting at the studio making more money. Well, you just missed out on a lot of what you are. I think that's really important, is being able to work for free, but not for free, work out of passion, do things for people, do projects out of passion. Sometimes like set money aside, set that aside, because it's amazing how like when you do things and you're not money motivated, the gift returns to you are exponential. Yep. And when you're a learning artist, even if your mentor doesn't ask you to do something, you should volunteer to do these things for free. You should volunteer to go to events for free. You should ask if you can go to these events. Like you should just do these things, because opportunities will fall into your lap if you do.
Yep.
Guys, I want to welcome in Medusa, and I also just want to say, Justin, thank you for commenting. Ricardo, I think you'd like to hear this. Justin says, I love all of you guys. I lost my wife to cancer 1.5 years ago and my mom a month ago. Art has always been my passion. You guys are how I'm able to grow and be happy in life. Thank you.
Man, dude, thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
Keep your head up, man.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry for
The
your
honor
loss,
is all
Justin.
ours.
Yeah. Yeah, anytime you want to reach out or talk to anybody like that too, if you need to, you can always reach us here.
And Amy Shandick, thanks for commenting. You're such a cool person to see, and I haven't seen you in a long time, but I think all of us probably recognize Amy and can say thank you for watching.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, welcome, Medusa.
Hello.
Oh God. Oh Lord, Medusa's here.
Sweet.
Sorry. Sorry. I tried to fix my name and I'm.
Oh, I gotcha. I gotcha. I gotcha.
I'm sorry. I tried to fix that yesterday after Robbie's thing, and in my settings it just says Medusa. I don't know why it still says that on here, so apologies for that.
Lauren, if you're the host, you can actually go through and change that. I had to do that for Medusa yesterday.
We're good.
Sorry, I had changed that for a group of friends on like Friday or Saturday, and then forgot to change it back. I changed it back in the settings yesterday, and it just hasn't. I don't know. Sorry, guys.
He hasn't caught up with you yet.
It's still morning. Morning, everybody.
Good morning. The party is here. What up?
Yeah.
Boots and hats and 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 boots and hats.
Need
Where's
some
the
like
banana?
Yeah, he already ate the banana.
Damn it.
Yeah. It
He,
was
he is
delicious.
the banana.
Well,
I gotta say something to Fawn. Fawn, thanks to you, I now have a music stand.
oh. Well,
I
you're welcome.
completely stole that idea from you. The second I saw, I was like, that's a brilliant idea. Why didn't I think of that? Found
Yep.
one on Facebook Marketplace for $5, and it's been so much easier since.
Yep, I'm glad you stole that trick. I love my music stands. I have a few of them that I use as I use them more as easels or like flat top on my laptop than I do actual music, but they're the best tool, I think.
Absolutely. I've got one in my tattoo kit now.
Yep. Makes
Yeah.
life
It does. It's so easy to fold up and carry, and it goes anywhere.
and they're magnetic. You can clip anything.
Mhm. I
So
have
my
an
boss
magnet
taught
that
me.
sticks right to it.
My boss taught me the music stand trick to adjust your light posts too. You can put your light posts on music stands instead of the tripods because it's a lot more stable.
Yeah.
And tripods also are just easy for everybody to trip over and knock over. So music stands are amazing. I'm glad that that thing is like something that everybody knows or is getting to know, because that's a fucking great trick.
Literally everything in our industry has to come from somewhere else before somebody gets creative and they're like, no, that would be way better.
This is for tattooing now.
We gotta like adopt everything in and then modify it.
Yes.
You know, one of the other things that I would touch on with like the tattooing thing, learning, getting into the industry and stuff like that is when you are there, one of the things that I've learned that has been super beneficial to me has been if there's something that you really want to tattoo, if there's designs and stuff like that, you're trying to push your own name, you're trying to push your own style and stuff like that. One of the things that I've always done is if I've put those drawings out there and I've told people that I'd be willing to give you a huge break on it. You know what I mean? And I've had some tattoos where I do almost for free even because I'm just like, dude, I really, really want to do this. You know what I mean? And I really want to be able to show myself and the people around me and stuff like that, what I can do and actually get some good critiques and stuff on it and like what I could have done better in the process. It makes it easier on the client. You know what I mean? A lot of times that you find the clientele that'll come in, not necessarily just for a break, because at some point you have to kind of start limiting that. But I mean, it's a good way to kind of like push that out a little bit more and push yourself a little bit more too. And it goes back hand in hand with what Fawn was saying. I think about like sometimes you have to do things for the commitment part of it. You know what I mean? It's not to benefit you or the client whatsoever. It's to benefit the art part of things. You know what I mean? And like, and your limitations. And I hate using that word limitations by any means, but how about the parameters that you think you've set for yourself? You know, because there shouldn't be any limitations in your art. You know what I mean? You shouldn't think of yourself as only being capable of being able to draw a certain way or only being able to, you know, some people struggle with like form, like body form or something like that, or realism, or mine is a big thing that I struggle with is biomech. You know what I mean? But I've been learning to kind of like use the right way of saying these things instead of saying that I just can't do it. You know what I mean? So that's a good way to push yourself. And it's a good way to start pushing your art and start getting people to see it too. And it's another one of those things like what Fawn was saying is you have to do it for the passion of it. And it's not necessarily for free because one way or another, you're investing into yourself and you're investing into your wheelhouse and what you're capable of doing.
James,
It's like,
can you hear us, James?
Yes.
I know you're in
Can
the
you hear me?
business course. Yep, we were in the business course together last week and you said you're back in a shop. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Sure. So I'm working at Artistic Skin Designs in Indianapolis, Indiana. So I actually worked there 13 years ago. I worked at the same shop in the same booth, and so it's basically all new crew, but they're amazing. They've been really welcoming, and now I'm the I'm the new OG, so it's like, it's definitely it's a new experience for me also, but it feels really familiar, and I think, just like, I'm really resonating with, with what you're saying, Ricardo, and Fawn, about, like, I'm kind of running up into some old, like, it feels like right where I left off, like when I kind of stopped tattooing for a time, and there's the technical limitations that I feel that I need to work through. I feel like I'm running right up against those, but there's a lot of things that are there for me, um, like riding a bicycle, sort of. And I guess I've really been amazed by all of the technological advancements in equipment. I am using raw pigment, and it's really great ink. Just, that's just, personally, I'm just saying, like, it's really awesome. But I'm also using, these rotary pens. I've got a whole case full of old machines, old coil machines, and they're super brutal. you know, my old coil machines are like, they'll hit you like a jackhammer. But these ones, I don't know, they're so quiet, and you know, um, but they really do work like so well. So I guess there's a lot of there's this familiarity with, with tattooing again. But also there's a lot of things that are, they feel really new at the same time. So, yeah, no, I'm super blessed and fortunate that I had a network that I could, re-engage with. And I think I'm trying to navigate that too, about how to, how much to, I don't want to say give, but I mean, like it's like once the process starts, right? Once you're doing the tattoo, like, you give it all you got, but it's the negotiation beforehand where you're trying to feel out, like, what is, what's the appropriate amount that, should be, for this particular service, right? What is the appropriate, like, um, what's going to work for for this client's needs? All that stuff, I think, are, it's probably skills that you constantly work on, you constantly develop. So, anyway, talking with other tattooers, and being, sort of being in a community is, I think, it's been really helpful, rather than just doing it all by yourself, especially if you're just doing it in, like, uh, like clandestine, like out of your kitchen or your garage or something like that. You know, that's got to be really tough. So, I guess I really appreciate the shop environment, and then, just being with other artists. So yeah, that's what's new for me, is being back, and it feels really great, and I'm super grateful for the opportunity.
Heck yeah, man. Welcome back to the fold.
Thanks.
Next time I'm in Indianapolis, James, I'd love to visit you, because I roll through there sometimes.
Yeah, please do. We're on Ripple, we're on 54th and Keystone, North Side Indy. So
Okay.
can't miss it.
What's the name of the shop again?
Artistic Skin Designs.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not too far away from you either.
One of the things you touched on, James, that I think is kind of special and worth mentioning again is like the community, and like how being around other artists and other tattooers really like influences and kind of pushes you. I think one of the things that, like, when I was in a small town and I was running my own studio, and I had 4 or 5 other shops in the community, and I was friends with all of them. However, all of those artists weren't like driven, passionate artists. Some of them showed up, they did their tattoos, they left, and that was it. So one of the things that's really important I think to encourage people is like, if you have a studio in your area that hosts art nights, like fortunately Red Tree happens to be like, we try to host art nights pretty regularly. But when I was still running my own studio an hour away from Columbus, I came to every art night that I could, just so that I could be around like-minded artists, because in my small town, there weren't really very many like-minded artists. There was one artist in Marion. His name is Kelly Jordan. He's outstanding, but he's not the most social creature. So like, you know, socializing with him is usually very brief. It's very kind, but it's usually very brief. And then he goes back about his business. So outside of those interactions with him, I didn't really have any other artists in the small town that I could bounce ideas off of. I couldn't be like, look at this new painting I'm working on. What should I do to it next? I couldn't share tattoos that I was excited about or ideas that I was like, you know, playing with and molding in my brain. I can't bounce those ideas off of artists who aren't, you know, passionately doing the same thing. So, you know, even if you are working in a studio and you are surrounded by other tattooers all the time, try and get involved with even more tattooers, try and get involved with even more artists, and try to like reach out to the other communities around you, because that's how we avoid getting stagnant. You know, I think there's this thing that happens in small towns and large towns, but you'll see like there's a certain style in this community where all the artists are kind of doing the same thing, and all the clients are kind of asking for the same thing. It's like, oh, I just want smoke work, filler, and letters to complete my sleeves. Like, you know, we could, with the same amount of time and money, we could do something cool, right? Like, so sometimes it's just super important to grow with other artists and seek your community outside of your own studio. I'm not saying to like jump or leave your studio. I'm just saying reach out to other artists, because that's where a lot of our inspiration comes from, is that the energy exchange when your brain is in the same space as somebody else's brain. And I think that's super important. And I think if you've been tattooing alone for years, or you've been working alone for years, and then you like submerge yourself in an environment with all of these other creative minds, you'll see it's like, I don't know, just like constant explosions of ideas when you've got like-minded creatives together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely where I was at for like, I think I had my own studio in a couple different places since 2013. And this year in March, I decided to close it down and work with some guys that I've worked with before. You know what I mean? They reopened up a studio that we all worked at several years ago, like a decade ago. And it's been reinvigorating. You know what I mean? And it's just changing up the way I'm tattooing and stuff even. You know what I mean? And the way I approach my designs and stuff like that. Like, I couldn't agree with you more, Fawn. You hit the nail on the head with that one, for sure. It's important. And it's one of the things that I recognized jumping into class with Jason like over a year ago. You know what I mean? Just one day I was like, man, screw it. I've been watching these videos for a little bit. I'm just going to hop on in there and start being vulnerable and start asking for critiques and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Which I was always so nervous of, because I always thought that, you know, I'm like all of us here, where we're like, it's not good enough. I'm like, my art isn't good enough. I just can't do it. This sucks. You know what I mean? But you open yourself up to that opportunity, and man, the growth is just like, it's contagious, and it's almost addictive even for me. You know what I mean? Like, I want more.
Yeah.
Ricardo's part of the RIT drinking game. Take a drink.
Oh yeah,
Take
that's
a
right. I told
take a
Gabe about
drink.
that.
What do you mean?
I told Gabe
You
about
still
that.
have to send me the rules on this, by the way, Medusa. I
What
still
is
need
this?
you to send
I
me the
gotta-
official rules.
I gotta convene with Kyle and like make all the set rules. But the Ricardo's rule is every time he's just like, this is just a little sketch I drew up, and then like he shows it and it's, you know, a fucking masterpiece, and puts the rest of us like to shame, and we all gotta throw in the towel for the day.
Yeah, it's like, I'm out.
Look
All right,
at him.
where's my
Look
drink?
at him. He's turning Ricardo.
Don't do it, dude. Oh my god.
Oh,
Okay.
All right.
Okay,
I
I'm
thought the
done.
rule was every time Ricardo blushes. Take a drink.
Ricardo, if it makes you feel any better, I have a certain shade too sometimes.
Mhm.
And I realized it could be La Red.
Yeah.
So we
Red.
might have a little series.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's
know
do
a
it.
guy.
We gotta do it. No, okay.
Yeah, but you balance that out well with the yellow light that you have on yourself. So I mean, we can't really tell.
Yeah. Mine is just right in the camera.
Yeah.
The same red as that skull right there, right?
Like a shade darker, but close enough. Yeah.
Oh my god, you guys are
I want to double down on what Fawn was saying earlier about surrounding yourself with like-minded people and how it can really help invigorate your artistic senses. Yeah, after I came back from Arizona for guest spotting in Hell City and even just being around there. So I flew down to Arizona to go to Hell City, even though I'm not a vendor, because right now I'm at a period of my career where it's just like starting a business. You know, the first couple of years are really rough. You're putting all your money and energy into it. It'll come back later. So right now I'm putting all of my money and all of my energy into investing in my career, which is why I'm always like, hi, I'm poor. It's because I probably already spent all the money I made on more supplies and like seminars and everything like that. But so I did not make my money back going down there because it's a slop. The shop was just slow and I spent more money than I had originally planned to. But I'm okay with that because I also got to talk to a bunch of artists. I got to surround myself with a bunch of art that I normally wouldn't see. I spent hours just looking at these beautiful paintings and sketches that are like in people's flash books, but not on their website that I wouldn't get to see otherwise. And I came back burnt out and poor as fuck and very, very tired. And I think every day for the last week, I've slept like 12 hours, but
Holy
my
shit.
brain, I'm so tired. I like never got back up.
Oh my God. 12 hours.
I'm so tired.
I don't
But
know.
also my brain is full of so many ideas and I feel invigorated. And I have like started 4 new paintings and my flash book has like 6 new pieces in it and everything. And I think that's all because I took a weekend to really surround myself by like-minded people and everything. And I invested in that. And now it's gonna come back. Also with the with your flash designs, I started making mine about $100 lower than I would normally charge in my flash book, just to sell them so that I can start getting the artwork out there that I want to create.
Perfect.
And yeah, you might not be making all of your money back, but you're building a portfolio.
Yep. The portfolio that you want, what you want to be able to tattoo. It's like everything that you're talking about is just planting the seed. You know what I mean? You're talking about all the money you spent and stuff like that. You're talking about all the effort that it took for you to get out there, the physical taxing that it did on your body and your mind and stuff like that. But like, it's exactly what we're talking about. You're planting the seed for your future. You know what I mean? You're benefiting yourself. You're benefiting your career. You're benefiting what you're going to be able to produce for the clientele that the future clientele that comes in. Even, you know what I mean? It's just all around a very good thing. You nailed it. Yeah.
Medusa, I did that in June. Only I didn't guest spot. I knew I wasn't going to make any money. So I flew up to Canada to go to the Deadly Tattoo Convention. Same basic thing. I went up there to get inspired. I went up there to watch these master artists working, to, you know, pick up little bits and tricks here and there, to go through, get tattooed. You know, I went there knowing that there was no way, unless I, you know, did some pretty shady things, that there was no way I was going to come back making a profit there. But that's okay. That's okay. I knew that going into it, but I also knew, much like yourself, it was an investment. Because when I came back, I was so insanely inspired I just sat down and I was like, all right, this, and ooh, yeah, let's do that too. Yeah. Ooh, that's a great idea. Let me do that. And you start to apply all of these things, right? And it's keeping that energy going that, to me, that's why I travel so much. That's why I try to get out to as many shows every year as I can, because every single time, even if I don't make my money back, the networking, priceless. You might meet up with someone from, say, France, right? Maybe you meet an artist from France and you keep in touch with that person. Next thing you know, they're like, hey, come on out here and do a 2-week guest spot. Or you know what? Stay for a month. Stay until you make your money back. We'll put you up somewhere for free to stay. Just come and work and hang out. Show us how you do your art. Show us what you're working on. We can learn from you. You can learn from us. Everyone benefits. Next thing you know, you're out in France for, a month and a half, 2 months, tattooing, drawing, painting, seeing the sights, going out to dinner, making new friends, making new connections. You would have never had that opportunity.
Yep.
You might not have made your money back at that show that you originally went to.
Yeah. Like also
all
maintaining
of that
a
other
good,
stuff. All of that other stuff's going to be worth it.
Really
and
is.
maintaining a positive attitude the entire time is so important because other people see that. And it's so important to just remember, I'm not here for the money. I'm here for the experience. I'm here for the networking. I'm here for the good times, the good vibes only. And also Fawn has a puppy. And she's like, I've been freaking out. Fawn has a puppy.
Damn, Medusa, you're funny.
This is Lolo. This is my baby dog.
Oh,
What up?
look at that sweet face.
Big.
Oh, hi.
She's huge.
But she's little at the same time.
Yeah.
Looks like a snuggly puppy right there.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so vicious, aren't they? Aren't pit bulls just so vicious? Oh my
Oh,
god.
look at that. Yeah, that tongue. I mean, that just screams, be afraid.
So vicious.
Yeah, be afraid. It's
Just
brutal.
gonna.
I didn't mean for Lolo to steal the show. I was just trying to get
Oh no. Hands down, the best part of the show so far has been that puppy right there. Look, I think I want to touch on what Medusa's saying too, is like there's a couple, it's all about perspective, right? Like if you go out to these shows and stuff like that and you see these people and you feel like they're better than you are, you feel like they're just doing some stuff that you haven't even thought of. They're killing it, they're popular, they're real famous, whatever it is. They're sponsored, whatever it is that you find as far as that measure of successful, right? There's two different ways you can look at it. You can either say to yourself that you're never going to reach that level, or you can say, I want to be at this level. You know what I mean? And it's up to us to decide, and it's up to you in the same hand to start making that happen and start asking the right questions. How did you do this? Not like, why am I not good enough? It's more like, how did you do this? Can I talk to you about this? Is there some questions that I can ask you? You know what I mean? That's the other good part about meeting people in person, is being able to develop that rapport like Jason was talking about. You know what I mean? Like I traveled a lot last year. I didn't make any of it back, but it was okay with me because I benefited so much from meeting everybody in person, and it's been amazing since then. You know what I mean? So that's just how it goes. But I did get the opportunity to talk to these people. I did get the opportunity to ask them questions, and I did get to meet some really cool people at the same time that are on the same wavelength and willing to do things for you just because they're trying to be kind. You know what I mean? That convention down in Texas, I didn't have a table that I needed, and the guy that threw the show helped me find a table from somebody. And another artist was like, "Hey man, you can use my table, no problem." I was like, "Do you want anything?" They're like, "No, just go ahead and use it." It was incredible. And so it's cool to see that, I avoided this part of the industry for such a long time because some of the things that I ran into at one point in time was very negative. I think Amber was talking about like that experience that she had with like a negative kind of experience with some of the tattoo industry and stuff like that. And it's not the same everywhere, especially not here. You know what I mean? And the people that I have been meeting through this, it seems to carry that energy once you're out there in the public with other people too. So it's been an amazing opportunity.
Sometimes,
Amazing.
Ricardo, based on one of the things you just said, sometimes I think about it in different ways to help understand how simple things are. For example, like you know, if there's a destination, a city, which is, we'll call it Success City, how can you expect, like, if someone's on the highway and they've been on the highway because you have to take a road to get there, how can you expect to get there if you don't take the highway? Or if you don't take the road to get there? You know, if you're looking at someone at this final destination, but it took them 1,000 miles to get there, you can't just end up at the destination. And sometimes you forget, like, there's different paths, different ways to attain something. Some are faster, some are more scenic routes, but like, you can't just expect to be somewhere if you don't drive there.
Exactly. Especially the people that you think already have made it, they're still going through their own struggles and stuff like that too. You know what I mean? They're still finding new ways to better themselves. They're still finding new ways to, I guarantee you, the people that you look up to that have made it quote unquote successful, that have made quote unquote like this impact in our industry or in life and stuff like that, I guarantee you, they're just like us. They're just like you. You know what I mean? They have their own struggles and stuff like that too. We have our own fights and everything like that as well. So you have to remember not to beat yourself up. You know what I mean? That's one of the most important things, I think, is as artists, we can all kind of relate to in this room, is that we are our own worst critics sometimes. I know that for sure for myself. You know what I mean? And it is, and I don't even want to look at that time that I spent that has been detrimental to me in some way or another. And I don't want to use that word detrimental because that makes it sound like super impacting, right? But like, it's had a negative connotation on the way that I perceive my work. And it's had a negative connotation on the way that I perceive myself sometimes even, you know what I mean? But that's one of those things that we have to kind of understand about all of us, is that we're all in this struggle and it's all a matter of perception on how it is your struggle and acute to you yourself. But I guarantee you, we can all relate that we have something going on that kind of helps impede us. And instead of it being allowed to impede, we need to kind of like reverse it and look at it as a tool, as a stepping stone. You know what I mean? Like, when I feel this way, these are some of the things that I can do to kind of benefit myself instead of just staying stuck, you know?
You mean to tell me that everybody here is a human with human problems and issues and anxieties and highs and lows, just like me? You're not all crazy art wizards?
Yeah.
What?
It's funny because one of the things, training myself super early on, like before I was even a tattooer, just like as and when I would look at like other art instructors and other artists, and I would see amazing things that just blew my mind. And then you combine that with like meeting people that like I would be starstruck by, and then they're just normal. When I combine those two things, when I look at something that looks possible to me that somebody has done, like I remind myself that they have the same two hands, they have the same two eyes, they have the same brain power. And the important thing that I trained myself to do instead of getting discouraged was to look at that thing or listen to that thing or admire that thing and tell myself, if they can do it, I can do it. And I think if you start looking at other artists and you start looking at other tattoos and other things that just like blow your mind, and you just step back and you say, if they can do it, I can do it. And then you start breaking it down in reverse from there. We're all given the same tools. Like essentially, we're all given the same tools. We all start out using crayons as little kids. We all start out using markers as we get a little bit older. We start using finer tools as we get a little bit more developed. But we all start out with the same two hands, the same eyes. I mean, there are exceptions, but we all start out, 99% of us start out with exactly the same things. So like, when I see somebody like Guy's work, it's like, if he can do it, I can do it. And it's not an arrogant thing. It's not like, well, that's just easy to do, but it's, if he can do it, if he can put in the time and dedication and work and all the things it takes to learn how to make that image or make that daydream or make that bio piece or build that new tattoo technique or whatever it is, like, if he can do it, I can do it. Or if I look at like Carrie Barba and her amazing textures and her like water scenery and things like that, like I could get jealous and discouraged, or I can look at it and be like, if she can do it, I can do it. And
Absolutely.
it kind of like eliminates that like self-doubt. It's one of those like, I know we have the same tools to do the same things. If they can do it, I can do it. And if you can teach yourself to talk to yourself like it's not so scary or intimidating when you're in a gallery full of beautiful, amazing work, or you're in a room full of artists that you look up to, because if they can do it, you can do it. If they can do it, I can do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that completely. It's not only that, you know what I mean, but it's also like the opportunity for you to see what can be done. Plus some of the things that you haven't even approached in your own mindset, you know what I mean? Like some of the techniques that you're like, wait, I didn't realize that you can do that with, you know, it's kind of like Rodney Mullen, the skateboarder, talked about that whenever they were, you know, starting to invent all these tricks and stuff like that. He's like, one person would do one trick. You know what I mean? Somebody would do the same trick that I just made, but they do it a little bit differently. And I didn't even think that you can apply it to this part of skateboarding. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with tattooing and art. You know, you see somebody do something in a way that you wouldn't have. It's just not. You haven't comprehended it. You haven't comprehended it yet. So if you can see them do it, and then you can try to apply that to your own technique and stuff like that, it becomes your own. You know what I mean? And I think that's important too, to kind of perceive it that way as well. That's pretty cool.
It's a whole combination of all of it.
Yeah.
When you see the other people use, and then you figure out that you can take that same trick and apply it to this other thing that you're working on. Or when you see that like different, we all like different tool bags of tricks, but when we realize those tools, we can trade and interchange. And when we trade and interchange them, we can build something totally new.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's because you're part of the community, and it's because you're part of that movement that even allowed you to be able to perceive it in a different way, that, you know, it's getting out of your own way, you know. And it's because of that opportunity that you took to be able to do that it's created that way. You were talking about crayons and stuff like that. And I've always said this about, like, you know, when you see an elementary school and you go down through the hallway and stuff like that, and you see all these kids' drawings and stuff like that, they almost all look the same. Little circles for the sun, squares for the house, triangles for the roof and stuff like that. You know what I mean? They might have some stick figure peoples and things like that, but most of them are generally the same. And it's all because that they've been taught these simple shapes, and they're trying to relate to the world. You know what I mean? So that's how they relate to the world. They've used these shapes that they've been taught to kind of construct this world that they're trying to express through their art. You know what I mean? And like, we find interest in it, and you develop off of that. Then you start developing, you know, what is actual dimension, you know, what is tonal value, what is gradients and things like that. You know what I mean? That's what turns a shape into a form. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things that you find an interest in, and you have to teach yourself how to do it. So in a sense, we're all still learning. We're all still being taught. And like, with how I draw now, I struggle. Like, sometimes I'll try to draw like a traditional piece of image, you know what I mean? Like a traditional tattoo. And it's just like, whoa, dude, it's hard going back to like that flat surface, you know?
It can be.
I'm sorry?
It's amazing how hard something so simple can be.
Yeah, totally. I had a friend of mine that was doing some pretty realistic tattoos there for a little while. He switched over to very folk, Americana kind of traditional tattoos, and I asked him, I was like, what did you do that? Like, what made you do that? Like, he's like, when's the last time you tried to draw flat? Like, shit, I didn't even think about it. And then I try to do it. It's like, wow, dude, this is yeah. It's pretty difficult. Excuse me.
We get so used to putting so much detail into so many different things, and, you know, learning all of these base principles of art. And it's something that I remember listening to a Steph Bastian lecture not too long ago. And, you know, he was brought up as a fine artist, and he was originally taught and learned how to do portraiture and fine line and realism, and excelled at all of that. And he said, but I wanted to boil things back down to their essence, back down to their basics. And I wanted to try to find the next thing that would challenge me. He said, and the thing that really started to challenge me was getting back to the essence of what something is, using the fewest elements possible, right? So he started to simplify everything that he was doing, and simple, and more simple, and more simple, and more simple, and more simple. And now, if you look at his work, it's very traditionally based, but you can still pick out certain aspects and certain elements here and there of what he used to do. He said that was the biggest problem he encountered, was simplifying and boiling things down.
Yeah.
It's something I struggle with all the time. I always want to detail the hell out of everything. I'm like, oh yeah, traditional Americana eagle. Yeah, I got that. And you know what? We'll do an extra layer of wings here. And you know, maybe we'll throw like a little bit more like wrinkles on the claw, forgetting that, you know, the tattoo's only going to be that big. So all those tiny little wrinkles in the claw are never going to be seen.
Yeah.
You know, so there's something to be said for that, and finding the next challenge and then working on that nonstop until you absolutely excel at it. Right. And then you move on to the next challenge. Right. But it's identifying those challenges that I think can really be the difficult task. You know, it's like sitting down and drawing traditional designs after you haven't drawn them in 15 years. Not easy. Very not easy.
Yeah, no.
Or going through and drawing a portrait after you've been doing traditional tattoos for 15 years.
Yep. Not only that, man, but it's pretty cool when you break down a lot of the traditional tattoos and you start breaking down some of these more dimensional pieces of work, pieces of tattoos and stuff like that. And like all the principles are there. You know what I mean? The principles in the traditional tattoo are in a lot of these complex designs and stuff like that you see no matter what. And like some of the most effective dimensional tattoos that I've seen have been based. I mean, if you break it down, it can be based around the principles of a traditional tattoo. You know what I mean? Black to color to black, black to color, black to color. You know what I mean? It's like, it's all there, dude. And like you're saying, like learning the simplicity of it is important. The fundamentals have to be there for sure. You know what I mean? And that's one of the things that I enjoy about that style of artwork. It's like a lot of the traditional Japanese tattoos. You know what I mean? It's the contrast is there. You know what I mean? The measure of black tonal values to color values and things like that, and skin gaps and things like that, man. It's all there, Jason. You're right. Yeah. Well, guys, it's about that time. I have a client that's going to be coming in around 11, and I have to get ready for him. But I figured maybe we could go around the room and have everybody give a shout out. Let us know how to get a hold of you. We can start. Jason, why don't we start with you, bud?
Cool. So my name is Jason Leeser. I do the skill building Sunday drawing group every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern time here at the Reinventing the Tattoo Network. Love to have some more people jump in. James, I know you expressed an interest. Let's have you jump in. You know, anyone else that wants to jump in, you're always more than welcome to. Fawn, love to have you on. I still have to jump into your podcast as well, but yeah, hopefully I can do that on Thursday. I forget what I have going on, but if I can, I'll move that around just so I can jump in. Medusa, it's always awesome seeing you. If anyone needs to get a hold of me, Amber, great having you on here. Lauren, where would I be without you? And Ricardo, you are my man.
Yes, sir.
If anyone needs to get a hold of me, reach out to me on Instagram at Philly Inc. Or if you live in, feel free to swing by the studio. I work at the Inkwell Tattoo. So,
killer, man. Amber, let us know how to get a hold of you.
Game. You can find me on Instagram under Amber Morgaine or on Facebook under Looking Glass INK. As always, it's been great to see everybody, and I hope to see everybody again soon.
Awesome.
Thanks, Amber.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. Medusa?
Muted.
Aha. Hello. Hi.
I did that earlier.
Crack me up, man. It's awesome.
I'm Medusa Unmuted. and you can find me on Instagram at Medusa Slaves with 3 S's at the end. Or on my website, medusaslaves.com. And that's me on the internet. Thanks. Bye.
Fawn, thank you for joining us.
You guys having me as always.
Yeah.
Find me at Fawn_Baker. I think on Facebook I'm Fawn Baker Art maybe. I host the Tattoo Collecting 101 show on Thursday evenings. So anytime anybody wants to join us and just talk about their own collections or their own tattoo journey, it's all super relevant. So this week we actually have a super special episode coming up. This will be our 100th episode. Recapping like from the beginning till now, some of our favorite episodes and some of our more viral episodes. And then we're also doing our Hell City recap. And then we've also got like a whole segment of gratitude just on what it's taken to get us this far. So this week especially is going to be a special week to tune in. So if you're available Thursday, tune in, listen. If not, definitely listen afterwards. This is going to be a super special show. So
Rock and roll. I can't wait. I'll definitely have to join in too, man. Thank you for coming. James, my good man, would you like to give us a little notification on how to get a hold of you?
Sure, thanks. James Wisdom. I do drawing for tattooers on mornings. It's 9 a.m. Eastern time. So I would love for each and every one of you to, please feel free to zoom in. I'm just trying to do like, drawing exercises and fun things. So it's always great to have guests. It's always great to have community and people to draw with. So I actually, I'm also doing the night exercises. And so Ricardo's in there, Jason's in there, Medusa's in there. So it's always really great to see you. Lauren, I see you at the business class.
Yep.
So that's always fun to catch up on. I hope I can zoom in for this, for the 100 episode on collecting podcast. That sounds like so much fun. And Amber, thank you so much for your kind words earlier. I hope you get a chance to zoom into the class too. I'd really love to have you. So anyway, I'm tattooing at Artistic Skin Designs in Indianapolis, and come by and see me for some tattooing. And yeah, it's really great to be on the show with you all today. So thanks, everybody.
I'm glad you were here,
Thanks.
James.
Likewise. Thanks for joining
Thanks,
us.
Lauren.
My name is
Thank
Ricardo Sturdivant. You can find me every Tuesday morning here on Tuesday Feels. This is a great episode. It's so good to catch up with everybody. I loved what everybody had to say. Thank you, everybody, for all the kind and very sharing comments inside of the comment section on YouTube. I can't tell you how much it means to me for you guys to be able to jump on here and feel like you're comfortable enough to be able to express yourselves and stuff like that, man. It's awesome. I love doing it. It's scary, and I've been doing it a lot more, and it's awesome. Lauren, thank you so much for all your help and all of your kindness. Can't thank you enough. I wouldn't be here without you. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Ricardo. Anybody else? If you guys ever want to watch some of these replays, don't forget that we have the Roku channel. It's actually, I've seen it on in so many shops, and it's super cool to just let play. Your clients can choose through all of the tattoo collecting episodes are on there. Some of ours from the Tattoo Weekly, Jason shows, James shows. I definitely recommend that for anybody watching.
Jason, thank you so much for everything, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's give a nice smile for the camera, and we'll see you guys all next week.
Peace.
I
What'd you say?
All right, y'all. Thanks for coming. I will see you later.
Later.
Cheers.